Hey guys, it's Naj. So if you guys have seen our videos before, you know if it's just me and I'm right by my bookshelf, that means I'm gonna be talking about books today. So I'm so sorry for how late this video is. I should have been done another book related video, and it's been, I think, like a month or a month and a half since I did one. So I'm so sorry for slacking, and I'm back, and I have plenty of ideas for book content in the future. So please don't leave me just yet. Just give me another chance. I promise I'm gonna make it right. I'm gonna keep it going, okay? So the first book haul was all about YA romance books from Book Outlet. And so one thing I noticed once Tanasia was done editing everything was that I was missing a couple of the books. I realized that while I was recording like the last few books, I didn't hit the record button. So as you can imagine, I was just talking about the books to the camera with no actual video. So I'm just gonna recap those books for you guys. Not even recap because like you guys didn't even see them. I guess it's like a recap for me anyway. So the last three books from the Book Outlet that were cut out from the last video, they are two books from Mila Gray, which is crazy because she just so happens to be one of my new favorite authors, and Mary H.K. Choi. Okay, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Wow, if you guys notice, I'm sitting a little higher now. I just stole one of Tanasia's throw pillows and put it on the stool. Thank you, Tanasia. My seat has been now partially sponsored by her. Okay, let's get back to it. So so I'm gonna just be talking about those three books that got left out of the last one, and then I'm gonna throw in just a few books that I have on my bookshelf that I've had for years that I really enjoyed those books, and they're kind of in the same vein. Similarly, I guess it's just all romance mainly, so they're kind of related. Although I guess like the audience could be, I guess, tweaked a little bit. Although we're all in the same group, YA, new adult. Not the exact same group, but like kind of close. What do you guys think? Okay, so this book is Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. I don't know how I'm saying her name, but she writes really well. So this book is about a girl named Penny Lee who is going to college, and so she has an interesting dynamic with her mom. Her relationship is not super typical, but she's away from home at school, and she's kind of adjusting to that, making new friends, that kind of thing. And then there's also Sam, who's the guy in this book, and so he's at a crazy space in his life. He's feeling a bit stuck, you know, like things are going quite where he wants them to be. He's making moves to like move forward, but as you know, like sometimes it can be in life, like you feel like you're not like things are just like not working. And so Sam, like I said, he's having a bit of a hard time. But as you can expect in a YA romance, Penny and Sam meet, and then they agree to be each other's emergency contact, which I think is just so cute. The idea of an emergency contact is so, like, I just love it. I feel like any hopeless romantic, or honestly anybody, would want an emergency contact, hence why you fill out the emergency contacts on your like school forms and work forms. But in this way, they're not, although they're not like literally like emergency contacts, like if I die, call Sam, you know, Penny's not like that. But it's like, you know, when I need somebody, when I need like an opinion on something, or something funny comes into my head, I can text you and I can just depend on you to answer back. And I think it's so cute, and you can see their relationship build over the texts, in their in-person interactions, and how they interact with others. It's just really, I just really liked it. And the way Mary H.K. Choi, I need to stop saying her name, but the way Miss Mary writes, or Miss Choi, I don't know, but the way she writes, I really enjoyed it. I like how clear she writes, but also it's like, it's warm. It's like her vocab is excellent. I guess it's like a weird thing for me to comment on. But anyway, I loved it. I really liked it. And I'm interested in reading her next book, Permanent Record, which I have started multiple times but I haven't finished. And that's not because she's not clicking. Like, her stuff is magic. But you know how it is, being a book lover, you get pulled in different directions, and the school was happening, and so I was behind. So I'm definitely going to read Permanent Record. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I will be able to do a book talk on that. But I highly recommend this. I really enjoyed it. It was a good read. So the next two books, the last two books from that book haul that was supposed to have that it was supposed to be together, are Mila Gray books. And so I had literally like really just recently discovered Mila Gray. I guess now it's not so recent. I guess it's about, it was, I would say maybe in like April, March-ish. And it was through a free book promo. I'm gonna do a video on like ways to access free books and ways to legally get free books and all that kind of stuff. So through one of those avenues, I was able to read her book, Come Back to Me. I loved it. The way she wrote was amazing. So when I saw her books on Book Outlet, especially for the prices that they were, like, I just bought them. I didn't really care. No, I cared. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really care to like do all that like extra review research, because I just know based off the first book, like, she's gonna do it again. And so Stay With Me. The Stay With Me is so cute. I really like it. Okay. So in this book, Noah Walker he was a former Marine or something in the military, and so he's now at this military hospital. I think that's what it is, military. He was a member of the military. He's now back, and he's injured, and so this book, as you can imagine, is kind of not only about his like physical injury. I'll leave that to you guys to find out when you read it, but also his mental injuries. You know, like the tolls that it could take on an individual, having been in the military and seeing people injured, especially people that you care for, that you grow to care for, you know, as they become your friend. And so Dee Dee, that's her name. I don't really like Dee, that name either. It just, the mental picture when I hear the name Dee Dee. But anyway, wait, no offense to anyone named Dee Dee. Dee Dee, anyway, sorry. Dee Dee she's working to become a psychiatrist. Her dad's a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and so he works at the military hospital that Walker is at for recovery. So she's pretty much shadowing her dad and working with the military to get that experience working at this hospital. And so, as you can imagine, she meets Mr. Walker, and of course, like, you have that like practitioner-patient relationship dynamic that is kind of makes having like any type of relationship between them beyond like a professional like clinical one like bad. So you root for them, but then you're also like, oh, like, you're his like doctor, but it's okay. So I think I really liked it. It was really good. I loved it. The other characters, it's gritty. It can be gritty just because of the topic, as you can expect. And I'm seeing a trend. Mila Gray enjoys writing about war heroes or like former war people. And I wonder why that is. Okay, and so this next one that I'm going to talk about is Run Away With Me. And so, I did say that most of them are involved in like military, but in this case, this guy is not. His name is Jake McAllister, and so he is a hockey player. He's in college, so he's a college hockey player. He's getting kind of popular. And then there's also this girl named Emerson Lowe. And so Emerson and Jake grew up together in this small town, pretty much. And so Emerson goes through a traumatic event. And at this time of her like most traumatic event, when she needs Jake the most, that's when something happens in Jake's family that causes him to just move. And she doesn't know why he moved. She just feels kind of like abandoned, especially like I was saying, in that moment when she felt the most vulnerable and she felt like she needed him the most, and she had reached out to him, and you know, she had kind of hadn't gotten any answer back. So as you can imagine, it's years later, they're grown up. As you can imagine, you know, they done glowed up. They're cute now, handsome. Jake done got some abs and stuff. So they meet again, and so it's about how Emerson is dealing with her past traumas. It's about Jake dealing with his family issues and growing up. And honestly, I really see Emerson as the one that needs the healing. And I guess them coming together again is like, I don't know, Loki, her reconciling what happened between them. So like communication is a thing. So they're going to go through communicating. So aside from her healing and dealing with her own self-love, in a sense, you can, as you can read it, you'll discover that. So dealing with her self-love and also with family. Family is also a big theme in here, and she's dealing with issues within her own family, and you'll see how that affects their relationship and what happens. But I truly, truly, truly enjoyed this book, as well as the other one, as well as the other Mila Gray book. And I've got the other Mila Gray book sitting right here, and I'll be talking about that in my next book haul, or like whenever I do the other book outlet book haul. But she's just a phenomenal writer. I would recommend you guys check it out, try it. She has a new book out, and I'm extra excited to get it. Okay, so that ends the book outlet stuff that I left out in the other one. So you guys can check that out. Okay, let me hit you guys up with Casey West. If you guys love YA romance books, you gotta know who Casey West is. She's really good. I really like her writing. She is short, sweet, and to the point, but also not too short. You know, where you kind of like cut some of the character development. I'm somebody that really likes medium to long books because I feel like they really delve into character development, plot development. I feel like obviously people can rush things towards the end, but I tend to find that the authors that I really like, especially with those medium to long books, like they really know how to get you into the story and know how to give you a nice ending, even though you may love the character so much that you just don't want it to end. So this book is about Charlotte Reynolds. She's 16 years old, and so she's the only girl in her family. Her mom passed away, so she's just raised by her dad. And so her next door neighbor, and pretty much like her other brother at this point, because she's pretty much growing up with this guy, Brayden. You know, they're all in the house. So she's a tomboy. She's all for, you know, sports and all that kind of stuff. And so she's going through this point in her time when she's kind of a point in her life where she's feeling like maybe she shouldn't be so tomboyish. You know, maybe she should explore her more feminine side and be more feminine, which is something that she feels that, like, if her mom had been there, like, she would have been able to learn and explore that. And maybe that's why she has yet to, or maybe that's like a stumbling block for relationships. So she gets this job at like a girly store, the opposite of who Charlotte is naturally. And so being at this place where makeup and like girly clothes are a thing, she meets this guy who has no idea that she's literally like a tomboy, which there's nothing wrong with being a girly girl or a tomboy, but the tomboy is so much a part of her identity that this other guy is meeting just that girly girl side. You know, the part of her that she's just now developing, that she's not completely grown into, that she's not completely like adopted as a part of who she is yet. So there's that bit of it. And then on the fence. So also the fact that her neighbor, the more and more time she spends with, as she's dealing with the stress of losing her mother, he kind of becomes somebody that she confides in, but typically only at the cover of night on the fence. So I liked it. It was pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was sweet. And I think it's a really easy read. It's not very long at all, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And I think I got that at Barnes & Noble's years ago. Okay, Sarah Dessen. Guys, again, another name. If you know YA romance, Sarah Dessen should be a name. At least I feel like you should be super familiar. When I discovered her in middle school, when I was like, I feel like 8th grade, I think I read one of her books for the first time in 8th grade. I was hooked. I wanted to read. I think I've read pretty much every single one of Sarah Dessen's books. Maybe I would say hold 1 or 2 on that. 2 at max. I feel like I've read all her other ones. She writes phenomenally. But in this book, this is about, McLean. This is about a girl named McLean. And so she's a part of a family that moves a lot. And so in moving a lot, every time she moves, she adopts a new identity, a new persona. And so in this small town that she's just now moved into, she's really trying to figure out, like, who is she? Like, who is she really? Like, she's been, like, I don't know how many different, but she's been so many different people. And at the end of the day, you can play people, but you are yourself. And you got to find out who you are. So that's what she's doing, figuring out who she is and where her home really is, especially if she's been, bouncing around. And so, of course, naturally, she's going to meet somebody. I think his name's Ollie. Ooh. And obviously, this guy's a sweetie pie. And it's I like it. It's a good story. You can say it's a thick one. But I really enjoyed it and I like it. And it's easy. You can flow right through it. But I think it talks about important identities like identity, home, family, those things that you just can't get enough of. And so this book's called What Happened to Goodbye. But good book. Good book. Okay, so this next book, Morgan Matson, another name that is well known. I feel like is well known in YA books. I think her first book I read I was in 8th or 9th grade, and it was Second Chance Summer. And I really enjoyed that book. That one, that's a read right there. You should read it. It's good. Has some really great topics, great storyline, great everything. Okay, so this book, Since You've Been Gone, is about a girl named Emily. And so Emily's pretty much, she plays it safe. She's a safe player, and she follows the rules. She doesn't really challenge herself to do things that are like outside of the norm. And so she's best friends with this girl named Sloane. I think Sloane got money. I think that's true. But anyway, she's been friends with Sloane, and Sloane is like the firecracker in the relationship and the friendship. Sloane is the one that does the crazy stuff, and Emily's there for the ride. Like, she'll participate, but everyone knows Emily as Sloane's friend, and Sloane has her own identity. So one day, it's summertime, like Sloane just pretty much like disappears. Like, Emily goes to Sloane's house, and Sloane's not there, and apparently the gardener people say, like, notify her, like, they're not here. Like, I don't know what you're looking for. I gotta do my job. These people ain't here. And so, Emily tries her absolute best to get into contact with Sloane, but she cannot. But she does find a list made by Sloane of, I think, how many things? Like 10 things or like crazy out of character tasks for Emily to fulfill on her own. And so, as you can imagine, as Emily begins to embark on this task to like complete the list, she is finding out about herself and pushing herself outside of her comfort zone and kind of feeling out what it is to be herself without Sloane. So again, this idea of identity and who she is without the girl that has always kind of been like pushing on, and without her being the sidekick. What is it like for her to run her own show, even though low-key Sloane is like running the show with the list? And then obviously, of course, she meets this guy, and Frank Porter. But Frank has got some money. He's dealing with some things at home and things like that, but he and Emily meet, and he helps her with the list. And obviously, in helping her with the list, they get closer, and then there's the prospect of a relationship, and then, as you can imagine, something happens, and then something happens, and then something happens, and then happily ever after. Okay, so definitely check it out. I enjoyed it. I think it was like a pretty good book. The crazy stories. Ooh, but I'm not even gonna lie. Like, there was like one part that had me cringing. I don't want to say what it is, but it was a little cringy. Not because of the how Morgan wrote, because she writes really well, and I enjoy like the story. I flew through it. But just because the audacity of Emily. So if you guys are like me, if you read it, you might cringe too. But if not, then maybe y'all are just bold and I'm not. Or maybe I'm just like extra not bold. I don't know what the word for that is. Okay. And so the last book I'm going to talk about is My Life Next Door, which is by Huntley Fitzpatrick. Why am I lying on this lady? This is My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. And this book is great. This is the first book that I've ever read about her. Not about her. Read that she wrote. Anyway, okay, so this is My Life Next Door. So this is cool. This is about a girl named Samantha Reed. And so she's living with her mom, who's a politician. She's an only child. And so everything in her life is super orderly, super, like, planned. Because, you know, as her mom's a politician, you know, there's deadlines, there's dates. People are always watching. She's always got to be on point. She's got to be kept together. And then there's her next door neighbors, which are the Garretts. And so they're just the opposite of Samantha and her mom. They're just all over the place. They got kids at the wazoo. They have their yards unkempt. Each kid got their own little personality, in and they out, always making noises. And Samantha always has been kind of like intrigued by this family. And so she often sits on her roof and looks over and observes, you know, the chaos of the Garrett family and what goes on. And so one day, Jace Garrett, I think he's the second, is he either the oldest, second oldest, I don't know, but he's one of the Garretts around her age. And so he climbs up her, the trellis, and then is like curious. He noticed that she's often watching them, so he's kind of interacting with her. And so as you can imagine, that first interaction kind of sets the spark that then pulls Samantha into the world of the Garretts. And so she's now, like, instead of watching them, she's on the inside. But while she's in the inside, she still has her life tied to her mom and doing everything right, still, like, attached to her. And so you'll see what that means, how she, you know, develops in her relationship with her mom, how she navigates the relationship with Jace, who's the opposite of what her mom would, like, want her to be with, in the sense that his family comes from chaos. But you'll love Jace. I love Jace. I think he was really a gentleman. I really liked him. I thought he was a decent dude. And I found the book to be really enjoyable. I read it, like, 2 or 3 times. I've read it a couple times, and I enjoyed it each time. And I love it. You can still find new gems in it that you've completely forgot about. So, yes, I would definitely recommend this. I got this from Barnes & Nobles, I think. And this was years ago, so you already know I'm not doing no prices. It's literally just a book talk today. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And also, tell a friend. It would be nice. Tell somebody to check this out. If you guys have any varying opinions or book suggestions or things that you guys want to see, please don't be shy in the comments. And I guess I will see you with more videos. Obviously more book videos, and you'll see me and Tanasia doing more of whatever we do. Okay, so stay safe, and thanks. Oh, I feel like I'm doing a PSA. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.